Hello, my name is Jean Shafiroff. I'm the host of Successful Philanthropy, a show designed to highlight leaders in the world of philanthropy. Today we have with us a very special guest. Her name is Anna Oliveira. She's the president and CEO of the New York Women's Foundation. This charity is a women's empowerment group. A little bit about Anna. Anna is a powerhouse. She is a spectacular leader and a woman who was recently named to a list by Forbes Magazine highlighting the top 12 women leaders in America. Let's all welcome Anna Oliveira.
Thank you so much, Jean. It's such an honor to be here. And let me just say thank you for your very generous introduction. That is a gift.
Not generous at all. Anna,
Totally
you are an
generous.
amazing woman, and I'm just so honored to know you and to be involved with the foundation as I've been over a number of years. Thank you for being here. Anna, can you tell our viewers a little bit about New York Women's Foundation and the work you do?
Sure. First of all, your involvement with us is coming very close to 10 years now, and it has been transformative to the foundation. We'll talk more about that. So the New York Women's Foundation is a public foundation in New York City that was created by women to focus on the needs of women, to focus on our lives. In philanthropy, a small percent of philanthropic dollars goes to women's lives. So it's an underinvestment that can be so beneficial if it can be corrected, can be beneficial to society.
I agree.
Women play, as you know, we play very pivotal roles. We are centers, we are hubs in families, we are hubs in our communities. So when we fund women, women benefit and those around us benefit as well.
Yes, now I got involved with this group because actually New York Women's Foundation empowers women out of poverty. And as a woman, I can't think of anything worse than being the head of a family or just a single woman who is struggling in life, who can't pay the bills. And a lot of us forget that when you empower a woman, you not only empower her, but you empower her family, and you empower that community by empowering the family. And when you empower a community, you empower a nation and you empower the world. And so, Anna, tell me a little bit about some of the groups you're involved with and who you're helping and how it's really changed their life.
Yes. So we have learned over the years, as you were talking about, that women make a difference for ourselves and for others. We have learned that one of the things about us is that we have to be problem solvers, right? We're problem solvers on a daily basis. So what the foundation does, it goes around parts of the city that are least economically thriving, they're least invested in. And we look, we observe, we listen to those who are living and solving the challenges in their lives. And then what we do is we invest. We invest with grants, with a support. We invest with access, like introducing incredible problem solvers, community leaders, to others that haven't heard of their solutions. So for instance, I would like to tell you, and I think you know that as you have been a terrific board member of the New York Women's Foundation. And that is that in a part of Brooklyn, in Sunset Park, which is right after Brooklyn Heights and Park Slope, Brooklyn Heights, Park Slope, Sunset Park, we funded a group of women who came to us and said, we are working with women who are maintaining our homes. They clean our homes, they take care of our children. We're working with them, and we realized they want to form a cooperative together. Because what happens in their lives is, the day that she has to take care of her son, she can't go to her job. She doesn't want to lose the job. And of course, the person who hires her wants to have somebody to take care of the work that needs to be done. If they have a cooperative, they can substitute for each other. They can always be present. So it creates a professionalism. So we invested, we supported that idea. And the idea worked really well. We funded them, and our grant at the time, I think, was about $40,000. Our grants now are typically $60,000 or $70,000 a year, and we like to do that amount because we want the organizations to be able to hire one person, to be able to support one staff member that can carry out the project. So what happened with the cooperative grants? The group of workers came together, learned how to operate as a cooperative, learned how to provide the same standard of service, learned how to grow. So they became better at what they did. They began to grow, and they divided whatever they earned altogether, they divided equally amongst the workers. So what happened? Success. The cooperative grew. The cooperative attracted more members. More cooperatives like that were created. A few years later, City Council in New York City saw that there was such a viable economic alternative that could create employment, right? That could create jobs, that could create economic sustainability in an underinvested community for women that had very fragile economic situation. We then decided to see what was the impact of the mothers having a reliable income, feeling proud that they had a job that was professionalized. And what happened? The children began to do better in school. They were proud. They began to say, I see my mother when she leaves in the morning. She's succeeding. I want to succeed more than my mother is even succeeding.
Yeah, I love that. And I've seen that work. And then I wanted you to explain a little bit about this, the soup bread kitchen and
yes.
What you've done. This
yes.
is an amazing story, but there are so many stories of of how New York Women's Foundation has enabled women to move forward with their lives, and by empowering them to keep a job and then to even develop a small business, these women are able to provide better for their families, and they feel good about themselves. And as a woman who, right now, I'm not working, and I used to work, but I haven't worked for a long time. I believe we all have an obligation in this world to help those that maybe are struggling, and if we don't, we're wasting our lifetime. And so, Anna, talk a little bit about
Bread Kitchen.
Yes, the kitchen, and how New York Women's has allowed this group to form a business that employs women that otherwise may not ever have a job.
Exactly. So a similar approach. It was also in Brooklyn. A group of women approached us and said, we are new immigrants in this country. We're living here. Our families are here. We speak very little English. We have a hard time getting a job and staying in a job because we're still learning the language.
Right.
But there's something that we know how to do, that if we could begin to do, it would really allow us to develop the economic viability for our lives so that we can continue to grow, right? So what was that? We all know how to make and how to make our own native breads. So I come from Portugal, let's say, and I know how to make the particular pão doce. I come from India and I know how to make naan. I come from another country and I know how to make the typical bread that I learned as a child, as a teenager, in the kitchen with my mother, how to do that. And now it can be a skill for me that can provide for my family, that can provide opportunity for my children. So they've come together and they said to us, look, we have this idea that we think is really going to work out. We need to be able to buy an industrial size oven because we need to bake the bread. We have an idea. We have a group of women from different countries, all of them, you know, heads of households, along with, you know, their husbands or partners, and they have this skill that they don't know how to market, they don't know how to utilize. But we think we can work together, we can make the breads, and we can sell them. And with that money, we can support the business and we can support them. So again, we began to fund them with a small grant. They bought the oven, they began to do the bread, they grew the business. We also provided what we call technical assistance in how to grow a small business, which is really important. So now let's fast forward. We fast forward now, I think, 6 years, and they are selling their bread in main outlets in New York City. Citarella, Whole Foods, a variety of places that you can buy incredibly artisan bread. That's what it is, artisan bread.
Yes, I've had it. It's delicious.
It's
really good.
They expanded their line of products. They expanded their organization. So Hot Bread Kitchen became a large organization that now does 3 things. It has women, trains women to bake their breads. And from that training, they can take jobs in other organizations in the food industry, which, as you know, is an industry that keeps growing in New York.
Yeah, it's really great. And
they incubate other small entrepreneurs that are in food business. So for instance, the woman that does rum cake and wants to learn how to do her business with that, you know, and they produce bread that they sell throughout the city and beyond. I believe that you can find it here in Long Island as well.
It's a real success story, and it's wonderful to hear how the organization, New York Women's Foundation, has enabled women who would otherwise have no opportunity to work or create a business to do something and to become creative and start a business and then move forward. Yes. Now, every year, New York Women's Foundation holds a breakfast at the Marriott Hotel in New York City, and 2,000 women show up. We all have to wake up at about 5 a.m. in the morning, which I hate, but I do it anyway, Anna, because we love you and we believe in the foundation. And then we get together and we celebrate women. And we are cross-cultural, so the group of women that come out for the breakfast are from every socioeconomic background, every cultural background, and we celebrate women. And tell us about that breakfast. I know we raise about $2 million or sometimes even more every year. Many firms, Wall Street, real estate, they all support New York Women's Foundation. Tell us about some of the leaders that get involved and some of the people that we've honored. And then let's move on to the whole area of philanthropy and women and how involved women are.
Yes. So the breakfast is indeed a very special event. And I know that all of us are saturated with events. But I need to say it's not just because I work at the foundation. The breakfast is very special. The foundation was founded with a breakfast. 1987 was an economic downturn, and women came together and said, we can do better for each other, with each other. And we need to include all of us as part of the solution. So they began with a breakfast in the basement of St. Peter's Church.
Interesting.
That's what they did in 1987. And they collected the first, I think it was $50,000, that then they immediately distributed to groups in the city supporting women. So fast forward, 33 years later, and the foundation has grown that opportunity of the breakfast. It's very rare that we walk into a room and we have a massive number of women that are coming together for a shared purpose. And the purpose is to uplift each other. The purpose is we win together. The purpose is we want win-win solutions. We want solutions. We all know the challenges that we face. We all know the challenges that, you know, we want to overcome. The question is, what does it take to overcome it? And I like to say what a very wise person said once. Individually, we are a little grain of rice, and we don't feed any hunger. A grain of rice doesn't feed hunger. But if we come together and we get a lot of grains of rice, we have a bowl of rice, and that feeds people.
So true.
That's what the breakfast is. We come together, we become strong, and we pay homage to those who are on a daily basis creating these incredible solutions. So we honored the person that founded Hot Bread Kitchen.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, really nice.
Because she saw the women, she saw their strength. She looked at them in their strength. Not the fact that they were not at that time super proficient English speakers, but the fact that they had a skill that they were proud of and they could make it marketable. So we honored her. We honored people like Abigail Disney. We honored people like Christiana Manpour. We honored people like
I remember.
You know, firefighters, women firefighters that have been breaking the path so that others can also serve. We honored Saruja Raman, who works with restaurant workers for their safety first and foremost and their dignity. So we like to honor, we also honor people who make a difference in philanthropy. Very important. You know, it takes both sides. It takes those on the ground creating the solutions, and it takes the rest of us supporting those solutions. We all are part of the solution, and we like to say at the breakfast, come as you are, do what you can. The foundation, yes, we live in a world that has enormous inequalities, that has many things that are disturbing to us, but we like to focus on the difference that we can make together.
Yes.
Each of us has something to contribute,
yes.
you know, and each of us can do better together than we can do alone. And I just wanted to say one thing, Jean. You may not be working like in a traditional engagement with a salary or a compensation that way, but from our point of view, you are a tremendous worker. Well, here we are. You know, you are working to create a world that works for all. That's what we're trying to do together, right? We're trying to say we can come together, 2,000 of us. Usually it's in May. This year, of course, we didn't have a physical breakfast, but I'm looking forward to having it next May. I'm looking forward again for you to be there and to bring your friends and to celebrate women from all walks of life, to celebrate our philanthropists, to celebrate, you know, we celebrated Aggie Gund, we celebrated Diana Taylor, we celebrated incredible women who are making a difference. And Delaney, who are making a difference in the city of New York, who are very humble, you know, who are not doing this, but for the opportunity to create a better reality, knowing that if someone else does better, we all do better.
Yes, and I remember about 8 or 9 years ago, I got involved because I was asked to host a big luncheon, underwrite and host a luncheon, and I said yes. So we did it at Le Cirque for many years, and Diana Taylor, who was at that time the board president and also the friend of Mayor Bloomberg while he was mayor, was involved, and it was just amazing because we had women like myself involved, but we also had women that were looking for a job, and just to bring all these women together. I believe that women have to support one another, and not all women believe that, but I believe that, because if you don't believe that supporting your fellow man is important, then I think you miss the whole point. But empowering women means that you support your friends, your colleagues. You don't turn your back on someone. You don't try to compete with them, but you say, I want to work together, because if we work together, we will move forward. If we don't work together, we're never going to move forward. And Anna, I just wanted you to talk a little bit about some of the other groups like Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement that the New York Women's Foundation supports, which I think are very important. And you're so on target with everything you do. And then I know you have a big COVID-19 fund. I know
Yes,
I've
yes.
donated, and
Yes,
you're raising
we're
$1
very
million,
grateful.
which
Yes.
is fantastic.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about the other work. We have a little more time.
Yes.
And I think our listeners would like to hear.
So we work from the principle that, as you were just saying, that we can all do better when we do it together. That, you know, the mission of the foundation is really a mission of economic security and thriving lives. We want women and families to thrive. We want all women and families to thrive. We think that in spite of differences amongst us, we have so much in common, and that we have an opportunity to show the world that we can share without losing. That for others to do better doesn't mean I have to do worse.
Exactly.
You know, we have an opportunity.
So on target.
So what we see happening now is a need for, in the case, Black women, to be respected, to be paid what, you know, white women earn.
Absolutely.
And women need to be paid what men earn for the same job.
Absolutely.
We need to uphold the dignity of humanity. So we want our Black colleagues and friends and neighbors and family members to do better. We want them to be respected. We want them to have the same earnings. We want their, you know, the health outcomes in Black women are not the same health outcomes for Caucasian women. That needs to change. We want people to have thriving lives, to have opportunity to grow, to thrive, to contribute as much as anyone else. So we look at Black Lives Matter as a temporary, hopefully temporary. We make a correction. We make Black Lives Matter as equally as all lives. We want all lives to matter. And you know, I wanted to say that yes, we believe that all lives matter. We need to pay special attention to Black lives because they don't have the same life outcomes as Caucasian lives, let's say. So that's what we are doing. So we look to support, but we do believe that people also are agents of their own solutions. So that we believe that, and that's what our grantees have told us, if you invest in people and their ability to solve their problems, we all win. So the foundation is very concerned with all women, invests in all women, but pays special attention to those that have less investment, to those that have less opportunities, so that we can bring all the boats up, you know, all the boats can float up.
Anna, it's really wonderful what you've done for Black Lives Matter and then for racial justice. Can you tell me a little bit about what the foundation has done to help with the COVID-19 pandemic? I know I've been recruited, but I want our viewers to hear.
So we created a fund, the COVID-19 Rapid Response Fund. And Jean, thank you so much for supporting the fund. We have raised $1 million. It goes directly to emergency support. Support for organizations so that they can pay their staff, support for people who depend on the organizations, for food, for rent assistance, for transportation, for emergency health needs.
So important.
And really important. We see that COVID-19 has altered life so quickly and so fast.
I'll say.
And communities that are already underinvested don't have a lot to fall on. So the fund has been like a real rapid response to them, a support. As a philanthropist, we want the organizations that we invested in to continue. We want them to continue to support people. And, you know, as human beings, we want people to survive this pandemic. We want people to get to the other side. And we want people to be able to not be so desperate. So your support is essential for the fund.
Thank you, Anna. And thank you to all of our viewers for listening and for learning a little bit about New York Women's Foundation. Anna Oliveira, thank you so much for being with us today. You are one amazing leader, a powerhouse in the world of women's issues. And so this concludes today's program, Successful Philanthropy. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.